Okay, so we've got out on the water. What do you think are some common mistakes that a beginner foiler would make, and a few ways around them?
So one of the really early problems that people find with foiling is they lose all awareness of where the wind's actually coming from because of the change in apparent once you're up and foiling. So the wind then starts coming from the direction you're going because you're going so fast, to then the loss of speed when you end up back in the water, low riding. It can be really disconcerting no matter how good a sailor you are. So actually, particularly when people are sailing on their own, having the confidence to say, all right, I feel like a bit of a novice putting a burgee on a boat that's going to sail on apparent wind where I wouldn't use it that much. When you're first learning, don't be afraid to do that. And a lot of the top sailors, in order to accelerate their learning, have put a burgee on, particularly in the lighter wind conditions, because it really helps them refine that wind angle once they've crashed back down on the water and get up foiling.
I definitely find I have no idea where the wind's coming from, for sure. Something I'm also really struggling with is that sort of just trying to take off. So what's like optimum angle for that, taking off? And also I get myself into a bit of a circle where I'm nearly taking off. I've sort of borne away a little bit, I'm pumping my main, I get to that point where I'm oversheeted and depowering again, and I don't know whether to move my body, which to do my body weight to try and get up to angle again. I get lost. Again,
really common problem. The first thing is a lot of people think that the best angle to get foiling would be a tight reach, but it's actually not. It's slightly broader than that, and that's because as the speed builds, the wind's going to come back from in front of you and therefore make it tighter. So you want to get through beyond a beam reach, almost sometimes even down more towards a broad reach to start off with, and then as the wind comes ahead, you'll get onto a tighter reach as the speed builds. The second thing is exactly what you're saying, is the pumping of the main. The boats that we've been sailing, the Wasp and the Moth, you can pump the main in order to get them up on the foils, but the temptation is to pump it and pump it in, so you very quickly end up oversheeted for the angle you're on. So you've got to be really good at getting the mainsail back out when you're pumping. It's not just pump it in, but get it back out, which means it's a slightly slower pump action. We'd want to do this, and that's what happens when the boom comes in, as opposed to this, and that's what we actually need to do, almost force it back out, and that keeps your sail trimmed. If you're finding that it's coming in and the boat's still not quite coming up, then you can head up and bring your boat angle onto the right angle to match the sheet angle, and that can quite often save you and get you up on the foils a bit earlier.
So just important, so that's a one-handed pump, but you're not getting your tiller hand involved at all?
No, really try and avoid it. If you start using the tiller hand, it's a good sign that you're actually going to end up oversheeting the main for the angle you're on, particularly in the light winds.
So it's an arm width length of pump, that's kind of the amount of sheet you're moving?
Yeah, exactly that. So Sass, certainly one of the things that I remember when I first started foiling was the amazing feeling when you first come out of the water. What sort of things have you experienced in transitioning from a normal dinghy, particularly as a crew actually, and then into a foiling dinghy where it's all down to you and helming?
I definitely feel my helming needs some catching up. Obviously I haven't helmed properly, like full time, for a long time. When you do pop up, it's awesome. It's absolutely an amazing sensation. I just can't believe how twitchy it is. Like as soon as you put your rope hand to your tiller hand, you do some steering and it reacts. And I feel that particularly really unnerving on the bear away and starting to go downwind. I just feel that weightlessness sensation, I freak out and I want some bite from somewhere, which in a dinghy you have, and in these you don't have at all. I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah, so the bear away is one of the most exciting manoeuvres in a Moth. Same in a lot of skiffs, so the high performance dinghies that are out there. And for me, the key thing is to have confidence going into it, to make sure you're happy with the boat set up before you go into it, so that you're in control. If you've had to make any changes because you're now going to go faster downwind, do them early while you're still going upwind. And then it is about just getting through the power zone and getting onto that downwind course. If you hesitate, you're probably going to end up going down the mine, over the front, and crashing. But if you can get through it really quickly, particularly as lighter sailors, so the boats we're sailing, we're quite at the lighter end of the spectrum, we need to get through that power zone really quickly.
So it's just committing to that turn, and then when I'm back on the straight line, I get the same sensations back then, do I?
Yeah, it feels much more normal then when you're going downwind. You are going faster, but essentially it does feel much more in control when you're down there, because you've always got the option then when it's going wrong to just bear away a little bit and depower the boat and then come back up to power it up.
Okay. Commit to the turn, that's what I've got to do. Okay, so that's session beginner done. We'll be back for some intermediate and expert tips.